Welcome to Read Your Comics. Today I'm looking at a Barry Windsor Smith X-Men comic, number 214.
I thought we were doing 205 Wounded Wolf.
No, Dave, I've repeatedly told you we're not doing Wounded Wolf. Thanks for joining me. I'm back again with West Coast Avenger for this Barry Windsor Smith classic. How you doing, Dave?
I'm great, Daryl. Thanks for having me back to do an X-Men book that I actually had never read before.
Well, that's awesome. Before we get started, Dave, why don't you tell the folks where they can find you?
You can find me over at West Coast Avengers on YouTube. I am there every Sunday dropping a new video, and every other Wednesday I have a live sale of comics. And I have a podcast called Direct Edition Podcast, available on all streaming platforms as well as YouTube. So find me there, say hello, subscribe, and enjoy the ride.
And all of Dave's links are down in the description, so just go down there, click it, and you'll find him quickly. Dave, what do you think about this Barry Windsor Smith cover? It doesn't have Wolverine on it.
It doesn't have Wolverine on it, but I gotta say, it attracts the eyes. You can't stop looking at it. There is so much on this cover that make me want to just keep looking at it, from the fact that we get Mohawk Storm. Looks like
That is a mohawk.
Yes.
That is a mohawk.
Yes, that's a mohawk with a ponytail, apparently.
Yeah.
And, you don't know it because she's not in costume, but you know it because there's fireworks and light emanating from her. She is struggling with Dazzler, and Dazzler with the Barry Windsor Smith noodling, amazing.
Yeah. The figure work always with Barry Windsor Smith, that you feel like it's like solid body. The contortions of the body look natural, like a body can actually move like this. It's not overly exaggerated. It's like you said, it's a stunner that you just want to stare at, even though it's not that classic, 205 cover or a life death cover.
But this one doesn't get the attention it deserves. But going on to what you were saying, like, you can see the strain being put on both of them, like the muscles and the strain in the muscles from Dazzler, but also like the fact that you can see that Storm is kind of straining to hold her down. The anatomy is great on this cover, and the color, holy crap, the color's amazing.
Yeah, I wonder if he did the color to this cover. He doesn't do the coloring on the inside, but I wonder if he did the color to the cover.
I imagine he did.
So one thing before we just jump in, and we'll see it inside too, the energy bursts that come off of Dazzler have a fluid look to them. And that is something I'm really noticing in Barry Windsor Smith lately as I look at more and more of his work. When he does energy, he doesn't like to do just like straight lines of lasers like emanating. He likes it to have like a natural organic flow coming out.
Very well said. I mean, it's the same with the wires coming out of Weapon X and Wolverine. Everything in that looks organic.
Moves, curves, twists, bends. Nothing is perfectly straight. So we'll go ahead and jump in, and we start off with Leela Cheney at a concert. Kind of an odd way to start a
yeah.
But I think something to note here is that this is coming off of the Mutant Massacre. And if you've ever read the Mutant Massacre, it is just balls to the wall action for 4 issues. And this is, in a way, this is kind of the come down issue.
Yeah. I'll give Barry Windsor Smith also some more credit for making this feel, this opening splash page feel like we're looking at what, a concert looks like. Like Leela's, got her arm extended out. You could tell she's singing. There's some emotion. The guitarist is just chilling back there in a trench coat, and we got all Dazzler on the keys back there.
Yeah. But even like you were just saying, though, lots of equipment and stuff on the stage, everything feels connected. Like, even look at the wire from the guitar coming down in the strain as she's like kind of stepped away from the amp that it's connected to.
Yeah, it feels organic. All of it feels organic. Nothing feels out of place. I will say this, though. I did not realize that Dazzler had she was black. She had black hair at this point. It was taken back.
I think she's wearing a wig because she's kind of in disguise, and I don't know what was going on with Dazzler. She wasn't really in the X-Men book a whole lot to this point. She'd been in her own ongoing series. And at some point, I don't know what point that ended, but I guess the anti-mutant sentiment had grown during that time, and now she's kind of in hiding. So she's
Right.
she's not she's
That's
trying to
right.
not be Dazzler. So I think she's wearing a wig right here because her hair does go blonde pretty
It
much
does.
right after the show here.
Yeah.
So she's being taken over by this thing, Malice, and if I'm not mistaken, this might be the first Malice appearance, even though they do say Malice is connected to the Marauders of the Mutant Massacre that just kind of wrapped up. I guess this Malice character was not sent into the tunnels and was sent to go torment some other mutants.
Well, she's doing it. She's doing it immediately. You know, with a name like that, you kind of expect it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wonder, when did the Malice that John Byrne turned Sue Storm into, when did that had to be about the same time as this? I would
You're
think.
asking the wrong person about John Byrne's Fantastic Four run.
I think it was probably close to this. I would think so. There was probably a little editorial back and forth on
I'm sure there was.
the Malice name. But look at the beads of sweat and stuff just coming off of her as she's being taken over, I guess.
It's the first detail that I noticed that I was just like, oh, that's great. Like, you can feel it. You can feel like what it's like to sweat like that. We've all been sick before. We've all had that.
And I'm looking to see on this first page, I don't think she has the choker on right there, unless it's just miscolored.
Yeah, she might not.
So the choker appears when when Malice like comes to her and appears, and then you see her as like Malice appears to the person she's kind of infecting, I guess, or possessing as themselves.
Right, and there's the blonde hair, and that's why she's appearing like that. But yeah, instantly she's taken over. You know, you get that next page, and the Dazzler powers start to kick in.
Yep, and there's that organic flow that I was just talking about. And I guess because I just read that Solar #1 that I did a video on a couple weeks back, and it has Barry Windsor Smith pages in it,
right,
in the cover, and it's very similar to what he ends up doing with that, I think.
Yeah.
But you know how her power is like sound based, or she takes in sound and then releases it as light. I think that's what this kind of represents, these like little circular things, as like the pulsing of the music.
Yeah, that's what I felt it like. It's hard to put it into words, but when I was reading it, that's how I felt. It's done very well, though.
So she starts like kind of taking over the show, and it's all because Malice is like telling her like, you should be the star. You should be the one center stage. And then,
well, wasn't she the star after in her own book?
Yeah, she kind of wanted to be like a Madonna, I guess.
Yeah.
Character of the time. And I guess because of like I said, the anti-mutant sentiment that had been growing within the Marvel universe, she kind of had to go back into hiding, and that's why she was pretending to be more or less a backup member to Leela Cheney. I can't really, it's like I know Leela Cheney, and I know her about her from like this X-Men era, but I don't feel like I really know a ton about her.
Yeah, me neither.
She appeared first in like a New Mutants annual that I've never read, and I'm confused as if she's like, is she an alien? Is she a human that like was like a pop star on an alien world? Like, I don't really understand her background.
I'm gonna have to read that one. What is it called? Steal This Planet, the Rock Fable. I think that's the name of that New Mutants issue.
Oh,
yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah, I know it's an annual, but I don't know what annual. It may be annual #1.
Yeah, I can picture the Barry Windsor Smith, the Bill Sienkiewicz cover in my head.
Cover.
Yeah. So the one thing that I kind of about his face is that I just want to point out, if you look at Dazzler, and then you think about Truett Hudson from Weapon X, it's the same face. The bald guy. Just take the hair off, and that's the same guy.
Take that wig off of her.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe that's well, anyway.
You know, I like his faces and I don't like his faces at the same time. I think he does this like almost too much realism and with like eye shapes,
Yeah.
and they almost look droopy. Like everybody has like kind of droopy eyes.
Or they
In a
look
way.
or they look gaunt, and maybe like they did a little too many recreational intravenous drugs or something,
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Um, and I will say that if I were going to critique something about Barry Windsor Smith that I don't like, and I'm not saying I hate his faces,
Right.
but I can see what you're saying, like where a lot of times they do kind of look similar. Like even here, if it wasn't for them having different hairstyles, they both have dark hair and she's wearing a headband.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, their faces look very similar.
I just wanted to say that, but I agree with you. If there was something that I didn't, if I was going to critique Barry Windsor Smith, it would be about the faces.
Yeah, I agree. So then we get our true title page here with Malice Toward All. And this is the aftermath of the mutant massacre.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to fix Cerebro. Apparently, Storm has some Cerebro fixing mechanical skills that the others just have to sit by and watch. And here we're going to see, like, okay, so we've got Claremont as the writer, Barry Windsor Smith as the penciler, Bob Wyacek.
Yeah. Wyacek was the inker for a lot of. Yeah, and he was the anchor for a lot of McFarlane's Hulk, or for 340, I should say.
Yeah. No, 340, McFarlane inked himself, remember?
You're right.
He did the cover. The cover.
The cover.
We got Glynis Oliver.
Mm-hmm.
We're fans of her, right? So we only get Barry Windsor Smith on the penciling. I think it's great, though. I mean, any Barry Windsor Smith you get to me is good Barry Windsor Smith. But I like this panel too. I like all the machine work. Again, the figures. I mean, look at Storm and like the muscles in her back and stuff.
Yeah,
all that is great.
Everybody seems naturally, like these are the figures are great, but the positions they're in and the way that that Storm's kind of got the one arm on one leg, one arm in the other leg, like it feels natural.
Mm-hmm. Yep, like you feel the weight that she's holding up on her with her arms on her legs like that.
And I want to just going back to Bob Wyacek, he does a great job inking Barry Windsor Smith and making it still feel like Barry Windsor Smith.
Yeah, he doesn't take anything away.
Yeah.
He doesn't try to put his own stamp on it. And that's the sign of a good inker, I think, is somebody that's able to like bring the artwork out without trying to like put their own stamp on it necessarily.
Right. Also want to point out that apparently the X-Men all have X-Men themed coffee mugs because Rogue is drinking from an X-Men themed coffee mug.
I thought that too when I was reading that. I was like, oh, it was nice of them, Professor X, to stock the cabinet with little X's on the coffee cups. Do you think Batman uses a Batman symbol in coffee cup when he drinks?
100%. Lucius Fox is making those on the DL.
Yeah. It's probably some like super advanced version of like a Yeti coffee cup too. It's it keeps it hot not just for 8 hours, it'll keep it hot for like 15 hours.
Oh man. But yeah, this page is just a little exposition, them talking to each other, and then Rogue, flies away. But then we get to a great danger room sequence here.
Yep. So it may not be Wounded Wolf like you wanted, but we still get some pretty good Wolverine action in this.
Yeah. Yeah, he knows how to draw Wolverine, and he does a great job here. More, just great anatomy. You can see all of the muscles, and Callisto too. Just fantastic anatomy and movement here. Even if Storm does look like maybe she looks like the same Truett Hudson also.
Yeah, so it's that. Yeah, we were just talking about this face up here in particular, and this one too. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, and he'll do these like little thin pencil eyebrows on her sometimes, but then do them kind of thick there. I don't know about that, but yeah, this fight scene, I think the choreography of it between Callisto and Wolverine, which they're training, but they're going at it. They're not holding back. It's a no holds barred. Like we may be practicing, but we're going for it. We're not, going to pull any punches on it.
Yeah, and there's a lot less dialogue on these pages. Claremont got out of the way.
Yeah, thankfully. I love you, Claremont, but you do get way too verbose a lot of times.
Yeah.
I mean, I all this is great. I love these pants Callisto has on, these like baggy kind of, I don't know what you
Parachute
call them,
pants.
parachute pants. Yeah. And this panel, I love this panel too, with the knife being thrown.
Yeah,
Breaking
breaking
the
the other
panel.
panel.
And go ahead.
I don't think Barry Windsor Smith drew that middle panel.
This one?
Yeah. Doesn't look like his art.
I kind of thought this one stood out too. Maybe the inking and the coloring kind of changed it.
Could have been a thumbnail, or it could have just been added. It seems out of place.
Yeah, I do agree, and it actually kind of seems, the more I look at it, it does seem kind of pasted in there. So I wonder if there was something else there.
Yeah, I don't know. But
that look on his face, though, it's still pretty good, because she's like,
oh, it's a good battle for sure.
She's like, your reach is only as long as your arm. And it's almost like he takes offense to it.
Yeah, because he probably doesn't have a big wingspan to begin with, being that he's short. But yeah, that's true. Those claws don't go any further than his arm.
And he just bats the knife away. Nice try. Throat shot would do the trick if it hit.
Yeah, I mean, Wolverine, nobody gives him any credit for his reflexes, but he's got reflexes probably better than most characters in the Marvel Universe.
And just that kind of ends it for him. And this is a weird transition, I felt like, of the fight ending here. And then then Wolverine's here with his shirt off and like a unbuttoned shirt with pre-ninja Psylocke.
Yeah. It was kind of a weird transition. Like, I'm gonna take my shirt off and go hit on the soon-to-be Asian chick.
And his way of flirting is to scare her to death. You seem on edge, snicked.
Yeah, that is I don't know, that this sequence didn't completely make sense to me.
Yeah, well, I guess she had just been attacked by a Sabretooth and kind of held her own in the Mutant Massacre, but she's rattled from it, like Wolverine had the same encounter with Sabretooth, which we didn't know at the time he had many times before.
Yeah.
But, so he's like kind of testing her to see like how she was holding up after like probably a pretty traumatic event for somebody that hadn't really had to deal with a cold-blooded killer like him before.
Yeah, Wolverine does like to mess with people.
Now we're talking about their Barry Windsor Smith faces. He does a good Wolverine face.
It's his best. It's the best character he draws, period.
A Logan face, I should say.
Yeah. Maybe besides Conan, it's the best character he draws. Like, Wolverine is his specialty. He just does it so well. He does Harry really well. I'm biased, but also for a reason.
Yeah,
because he is so good with Logan, and also when he's in the Wolverine costume.
And good flow here. I like how it ends with the silhouette. And I guess, what was it? He got the call about Dazzler. Dazzler's acting up. We should go check on her. She's acting crazy. Leela Cheney, the rock star, called me and said, let's go check on her.
Yeah, because it's typical how things are handled in this world.
Yeah. So they go, and she's at a club, just not see her hair's blonde. She's taking off the wig, and she's just going off with her powers. Looks like everybody's having a good time, though.
Yeah, she's having a good time. The crowd's having a good time, and then the X-Men have to show up and ruin everything.
Yeah, Buzzkill, Storm, and Rogue, and Wolverine, just coming to cramp their style, right?
Yeah, and that next page. Well, look who's here. The use of the shapes, are fantastic. It's very frantic, and I bet that's, if you're not there to dance, it will feel frantic and a little overwhelming.
Yeah, and her light show would definitely make for like just an awesome experience to be around. Somebody's there just like, blowing up like a disco ball, more or less. I mean, it's not straight up fireworks like Jubilee. It's like rays of light and like spinning light and stuff. I love this panel in the way, again, great body contortion here, but I love the way that her powers are coming out of her, like, her hands like this, and you got like we were saying before, it's like the music kind of coming out.
Yeah, it doesn't leave you questioning what's actually happening. You like can see it and it makes sense. And then that next panel where the X-Men, like I said, if you're not vibing, this would be very, very tough to deal with. And you can see the next panel, they're all freaking out because they can't see anything.
Mm-hmm. I like the coloring on that. That's solid coloring from Glynis there.
Oh yeah, she killed it. She killed it.
And I wonder how much notes on coloring that Barry Windsor Smith gave for this, knowing that he's kind of like a wants to do it all kind of guy.
Yeah, I'd love to see some of the original art for this to see if there's a lot of notes, or a color guide to see if there's a lot of notes.
So Dazzler, Malice, who's possessed Dazzler, is now attacking the X-Men, and they're kind of confused as to why she would be doing it, because last they encountered her, they were friends. Well, except for Rogue, apparently, who must have shown up in the Dazzler comic. Does it mention it there?
It mentioned it in the page before.
Yeah, in Dazzler 22 through 24. I've never read those, but I guess Rogue and Dazzler had an encounter that when Rogue was still with Mystique, I imagine. And there's our cover panel down there.
Yeah, it's almost. Maybe this panel was the thumbnail and the cover was the cover, but yeah, it's almost exactly how it appears on the cover, at least contortion wise.
Yep. And then Malice is like, "Okay, I'm done with you, Dazzler. I found somebody else to play with."
Yeah,
and she's gonna take over the unstoppable killing machine.
You look at the look on his face. I mean, that's that's you can hear the growling. Look at those eyebrows. I mean, his eyebrows grew about an inch.
They got like more spiky, almost like like the hair on an animal when they're like, mad or surprised or something that happened to his eyebrows. And he just starts swinging at him. And I guess something to note is the Storm is still powerless at this point too.
That's right.
She hasn't had her powers in like 25 some odd issues or something at this point.
Yeah. Not for nothing, but Wolverine would have eviscerated all of them within an instant. But we can't have that because this is an X-Men book.
Yeah,
this isn't another timeline where the X-Men all die.
And then it would just be over.
Yeah.
Even this panel down here I like this angle too of Wolverine coming at Dazzler, and the angle of it with just his fist with his claws in the frame. You definitely get to see the choker, but even Dazzler, like it shows like her, I don't want to say frailness, but it's like her sternum, like the bones of her sternum.
Yeah, she's extremely skinny.
Yeah. But that's a detail that I think that not a lot of artists would think to put on, even if they're drawing like a skinny person.
Yeah,
unless they're wanting them to look like skeletal, like they wouldn't do that.
It's a testament to how well he does with anatomy. Like he doesn't draw women, like cartoony, like the like you would see with the 90s guys, but he draws them athletically thin. Like there's muscle on Dazzler and there's muscle on Storm, and it's not just like so he's good at that. But Dazzler goes all Cyclops on Wolverine.
Yeah. and it's her now because she's defending herself, and what a way out of her eyes. I don't know how many times she's done that. I always think of her doing like she points at like a gun, she like shoots it out with her fingers, but maybe she does more stuff like that in her own series that I've just never really dove into. Then we meet this cop guy down here. I don't remember if he had been like around, but I found this interaction to break the story flow oddly.
A little bit, yeah. He's also very ice-like, very Terminator-like.
Yeah, so you're like, what is the deal with him? And why are we spending 3 panels with a lot of dialogue to focus on him? It's not just like the cops are here,
Yeah.
It's like we're really focusing on this one particular SWAT guy or whatever.
Before we get to the next page, I just want to point out this these 2 pages have turned into the X-Men beating the crap out of the X-Men. Dazzler knocks out Wolverine. Storm knocks out Dazzler. Rogue knocks out Wolverine. It's kind of funny. Like it definitely made me chuckle a little bit the way the story flowed. Like Claremont was having a little fun with this. Like they're all just beating the crap out of each other because it's Malice jumping from body to body.
Mm-hmm. And now she's going to get Rogue, who is a powerhouse in herself.
Yeah.
And, you go from Wolverine to Rogue, and it's like, which one do you not want to put up with? It's like both. Like, I really don't want to take on Wolverine for sure, and I really don't want to take on Rogue. So.
Yeah.
And she goes out to like take on the cops, and this is part of this, I think, is to make more of a scene, just to cause more like mutants are bad.
Yeah. More trouble
on
for
that.
the mutants. Mm-hmm.
I love these panels of him like sweating down there.
Yeah.
Lots of dialogue here of just kind of catching up what's going on. But I do like these panels at the bottom.
Yeah, like everybody's showing, the emotion. And since Wolverine, we always know is angry, the claws show more emotion than his face would anyway.
Yeah. He's ready to do it. I think he says we'll do what we have to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're coming up with a plan on how to stop Malice in Rogue. They've discovered that it's the choker, that it's like some other like thing taking them over. It caught them off guard, but now they've caught on, and they've come up with a plan. And they're like, "What if it fails?" And Wolverine's like, "We'll do what we have to." It shows his claws.
Yeah, and then you get sweaty Rogue. Also, I'd just like to let you know that I have total faith in you to enter the New Universe Super Sleuth sweepstakes on the next page, because you are a fan of the New Universe.
I don't want to say that I'm a fan of the New Universe. I have been exploring the New Universe for purposes of letting other people know not to explore the New Universe.
Fair enough.
But I did look through this when I was reading it, and I did read through some of these, and this must all be like later issues that I've not read. So I didn't really know the answer to any of these that I looked at. So
I've never read a single one.
It's funny that at this point they are still trying to push the New Universe.
Mm-hmm.
This is about 2 years into the New Universe, and they're like, we're trying to make it happen here. Please enter our sweepstakes, please. Quit trying to make New Universe a thing, Jim.
Yeah, it'll happen eventually. Never.
So I like Rogue here. Just she's in front of the cameras. Or Malice as Rogue is eating up the attention. Like, I'm causing havoc, and I'm part of the group called the X-Men. You should look into them.
Malice is a jerk.
Yeah, Malice is the name says it all, right?
Exactly. But I do like these bottom panels. A lot of noodling and lights and colors. I mean, it really is like, and it's such a juxtaposition from this top panel to the bottom 3. I love it.
Yeah, Dazzler's putting on her show again. I mean, she's doing her Superman and everything else with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do feel like maybe some of these last pages, maybe Deadline catching up a little bit. Backgrounds kind of seem to fade away.
They're gone.
Some of the details not quite as strong as they were in the early part of the issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt that too. It kind of ended abruptly, or like it kind of gets rushed.
I do like when Malice is in this like ethereal form, taking over Storm, and has the mohawk and stuff. It looks neat.
Yeah, and the contortionist Storm and those top 2 panels in the bottom in the second page is really, really cool to see. But yeah, the backgrounds are gone, and she's my strength, my will, my soul, forever my own.
Yeah. So powerless Storm just uses her willpower to end the whole thing.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris Claremont.
That's a good panel right there too. The small.
Yeah.
And then they have to slink off because Look at this reporter. He's got that same face too.
It's Charles Xavier. That's who that is. That's Charles Xavier.
It's like take out that. It's like, Professor, you're doing the news now.
Yeah, he really went into hiding. It's like, I got a hat, and now I'm an investigative reporter.
And this is, I guess, Dazzler's joining the team now. Finally, she's going to be part of the X-Men. You know, they wanted her to be part of the team.
Yeah.
Right before the Dark Phoenix saga, and editorial said, no, you've got a solo series coming out. You got to go do that. And now they're like, okay, let's. Now's your time. Come.
You tried to kill us. It wasn't your fault. Join the team.
Yep.
I kind of feel like that's the X-Men's MO pretty much all the time.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them. Rogue came in that way. Callisto was not part of the team necessarily, but they've got her training with Wolverine.
She was a warlock.
And obviously Magneto and who else? There's plenty of others.
I feel like Mystique, was she part of the X-Men at some point?
I can't think of her, but Emma Frost.
Yeah, Emma Frost. Sure. Yeah, that's right. Did we say Rogue? Rogue tried.
Yeah, Rogue. Yeah, Rogue.
Yeah, I mean that's that's kind of the X-Men's MO in general, is like, we're not enemies, we should be allies. Come join the team and be gifted.
Everybody gets a second chance.
Exactly. And everybody should get a second chance, with the exception of, well, I won't go into that. But I do like this last page was kind of wild. I didn't expect this to go this way. Yeah,
for Wolverine to attack Storm and it kind of be like, I can't trust my senses. This Malice thing is like messed me up.
Yeah. I like that. And just that the lettering and that middle panel's pretty awesome. Also, I also want to say that this issue, the panel layout it hasn't been like super experimental, but it changes from page to page.
Yeah. He didn't just stick with like a basic formula.
No. I mean, you get 5 panel pages, you got 7 panel pages, you got all different sorts of panel pages.
Yeah, and Barry Windsor Smith, now he'll do it sometimes more often than others, but like when we showed the knife breaking the panel earlier, he uses that very sparingly.
Yeah.
So I think it's like more effective in a way than like some artists, they're like constantly like, let me break the panel here and there. And sometimes you'll get weird juxtapositions or tangent lines, from that. And so it's kind of nice. And then we finish up with our cop dude who now has the mouse choker on.
Yeah. Very 80s style looking, movie shot there of him. Or maybe they wanted to use the Punisher and they couldn't, so they just made up a new Punisher looking guy.
Yeah. And I don't remember exactly what happens in the next issue. It's been forever since I've read the second one. I just wanted to do this one for the Barry Windsor Smith, but so I don't know where they go with this. But that's our cop that we set up earlier for whatever reason. And that's the last. And I guess this is the last Barry Windsor Smith issue that he does of X-Men. He would have done a Life Death 3.
Right.
And I don't know why that fell through. But he ended up doing that as a standalone graphic novel, changing characters and stuff.
Yeah, what was it called? Astra?
Yeah, Ad Astra in Africa.
Yeah. Oh, but we would have a couple years, and then Weapon X would pop up about 6 years from now. So it wouldn't be the last time he drew Wolverine, but
no.
I wonder what other books he did in between these that maybe I don't know about.
Probably that Iron Man fill in. I don't know if Machine Man came out before or after this. The Machine Man mini.
Yeah, the miniseries.
I don't know. It's like his work was so sparing. Even these X-Men issues he did would be about like 9 months apart.
Yeah, in the Windsor Smith era, he did a bunch as Barry Smith, but those were not as cool.
Right. That was as he even admits, he was trying to do Kirby.
Right.
And he'll even say, I was doing Kirby and doing it poorly, and it was still probably better than most of the other artists that Marvel
Yeah, seriously.
All right. Any closing thoughts on this one?
No, fun issue. Standalone story. Flows great. I enjoyed reading it. And this is one of the things that I do love about the X-Men is when you can have one of these standalone stories with the characters that you know and not have it have big implications. Like, I guess the biggest implication is that Dazzler is going to join the X-Men, which she doesn't even stick around for too long.
No, she's there through Follow the Mutants and she's there for a good bit of the Australian era.
Right.
Which is a weird era anyway, because it's like
very weird.
Yeah. But I do like Dazzler as a character.
Mm-hmm.
I just never liked her enough to like read her solo series and
sure. Wow.
But I like her when she's an X-Men.
Well, when Taylor Swift pops up as Dazzler in the new Deadpool movie, maybe I'll go back and take a look at some of these solo Dazzler issues.
I won't be able to afford those issues if that happens. at least for like a year until the FOMO wears off, right?
Right.
It's funny that Dazzler #1 used to be just quarter bin fodder. Mm-hmm. And even now, like what does it go for now, Dazzler? In good shape.
In good shape, the regular version like $15, $10, but then the color error goes for more.
But yeah, I remember running across Dazzler ones all the time in quarter boxes.
Yep.
And then nobody wanted it. And I was like, I like Dazzler, but no. Like keep going. And
I mean, the best thing about Dazzler's miniseries is the killer Sienkiewicz covers. I mean, he did almost he didn't do every single one, but he did 10, 15, maybe more.
Yeah, he did a bunch of cool. He did a really cool thriller. Yeah, the thriller one. So that'd be one I'd like to look at on here, but I'm not gonna pay a ton for it because it's one issue in Dazzler, but just for the cover, I'm sure the interior issue is like, but,
yeah, right.
All right, well, I guess that's all we got. Until next time,
read your comics. More Barry Windsor Smith comics, that is.
Maybe like after we do this, I'll have you do like where they can find you at the beginning, since that's what most people watch it that part, and then they're like, I'm done with this video. I've seen the first 2 pages. I'm done.